best friends forever or not. Elara and Zora had been a team since kindergarten. They had a secret handshake, a shared love for strawberry licorice, and a promise that nothing would ever change. They spent every summer afternoon on the old tire swings, dreaming about the big world of middle school that awaited them. To them, the future was just a bigger version of the present, with more homework and taller lockers. But when September arrived, the big world felt a lot more complicated than a bigger locker. On the very first day, Elara stood in the crowded hallway, clutching her schedule like a shield. The air was thick with the scent of floor wax and the roar of hundreds of students. For the first time in her life, she didn't have a single class with Zora. She felt like a small boat lost in a very choppy sea. While Elara spent her afternoons in the quiet sanctuary of the library, Zora found a new home in the basement, the robotics lab. Zora was fascinated by gears and code, things Elara found boring and cold. One afternoon, Zora tried to show Elara her new project, a small rolling robot. Elara tried to look interested, but she felt a strange, sharp pang in her chest. Zora was changing, and Elara didn't know how to keep up. As the weeks passed, the BFF texts became shorter. Elara started spending more time in the art room, finding that she could express the confusing swirl of middle school emotions better with a brush than with words. She missed Zora, but she also liked the way the blue paint looked when it blended into the gold. She was discovering a version of herself that didn't need a partner to exist. The breaking point came at lunch. When Elara finally sat down across from Zora, she hoped for a normal conversation. Instead, Zora was busy scrolling through a group chat for the robotics team. When Elara tried to talk about her new painting, Zora barely looked up. The knot in their friendship title finally felt real. They argued, loudly, about forgotten plans and new friends until the bell rang and sent them in opposite directions. For a week, they didn't speak. Zora threw herself into her work, but the joy felt a little dimmer. She was trying to build a sensor for her robot, but the wires kept tangling, and her head was full of the mean things she had said at lunch. She realized that while she loved her new hobby, she missed the person who used to cheer for her the loudest. Elara, meanwhile, was finishing her masterpiece for the school art showcase. It was a painting of a bridge. Half of it was old and wooden, the other half was sleek and silver. It represented the transition they were both going through. She realized that she didn't want to go back to kindergarten. She just wanted to find a way to bring Zora into her new, colorful world. The night of the robotics competition arrived, and Zora's team was missing their main promotional banner. Suddenly, Elara appeared at the lab door, holding a giant roll of paper. She had spent the previous night painting a magnificent, high-tech logo that made the robot look like a superhero. She didn't say much, just handed it over. After the competition, they found their old spot on the stone bench by the playground. The air was cool, and the school was quiet. They talked, really talked, about how scary it was to grow up, and how they both felt like they were losing their way. They apologized for the silence and the shouting. They realized that they didn't have to be the same people to be the best of friends. Their friendship didn't go back to the way it was in kindergarten. It became something new, sturdier, and more interesting. Elara still painted, and Zora still built robots. They didn't share every class or every hobby, but they always shared the strawberry licorice. They weren't just best friends forever. They were friends who had chosen to stay, even when things got complicated.